Hey everybody. Today, I'd like to take you through the first day on a fresh vintage save. First up, gotta get the right character. My favorite strategy is just to randomize until I get a character with the right facial hair and the right look in their eyes. Once landing on them, we load on in. As you can see, starting out in a forest area, sometimes good, sometimes bad. Not always a positive when you get mauled by bears or wolves, but immediate sticks are always nice. Naturally, went through the standard protocols, immediately gathering sticks and then looking for flint and cattail. Thankfully, we found cattail immediately, but still lacking the flint. Now, as we go through the first sections, just trying to figure out where I'm at, getting my grounds, getting my bearings, so to speak, and gathering as many resources as I can get my hands on, at least ones that I know I'm going to need. While working through the forest and getting through the clearing, as you can see, I spot a little ruins over there. But I know I'm going to need a couple things before we jump in. I start looking around, marking different things that I'm finding, such as this borax deposit. After that, I get back on the hunt. I know I'm going to need cattails. I've got enough flint, so let's start looking for a decent amount of cattails I can gather, and as much food as I can get my hands on as well. While going through here, I managed to pick quite a few berries, but realized I needed to get ahead of the game. I'm going to run out of storage faster than I can realize if I don't make a knife and start gathering cattails soon. So that becomes the next priority. After fumbling around with the inventory system a little bit, trying to get my bearings, I realize, hey, there's the trader as well. So, get some berries and make my way over to the trader. It's always good to check out what they've got, just in case there's anything unique, although it's not like I have any gears right now to spend. Once I go in and see it's an artisan, I realize they might have something neat, but nothing I'm really going to be able to afford right now. So, we keep it moving after checking out the supplies. Once I mark them on my map so that way I can come back to them later once I've got some gears to spend. Start getting those cattails I keep talking about. Little fish cruising through, but that's no mind to me, and I'm also trying to avoid all the tool and other plants that are in the way. Really just looking for those reeds and cattails so that way I can finally make some storage. Once I started to get comfortable with the land, getting some cattails, I decided to move over to the ruins, but spotted a bear out of the corner of my eye. Thankfully, I caught him before he caught me. Otherwise, that would have been tough. Once at the ruins, kind of just took in the size of it. I've never found a ruins this big on my personal runs, so this was kind of a unique experience for me. Once in there, though, I also noticed there was some loot to be had. So I started breaking all the cracked vessels, trying to get some good items. Thankfully, the forage ones gave me plenty of cattails. That allowed me to fast track my hand baskets. That way my inventory was a little bit larger than it would have been otherwise. And that's always a huge bonus. Thankfully, with a couple decent loot gets, so to speak, I was able to get enough cattails to fully set up my inventory, at least for the reed basket phase. Also gathered some dry grass and a couple other odds and ends like flax grain and flint. I decided to go ahead and make a shovel so that way I could work through the ruins and try to get some items from there. I know a lot of times under the ruins there's forage vessels, and on top of that, there could be different sort of rooms with various goodies inside. These are the sorts of things that are going to help us out once we get settled in and get into the meat and potatoes of the game. Digging around a little bit, I was able to figure out that there is a proper room under the ground over here. I dug through and decided to see what I can get my hands on. Although I couldn't reach the torch holder right now due to the cobblestone and the dry stone, I decided just to loot the chests and leave the torch holder for later. That way I'd be able to come back and get it another time. Within the chests, found an awesome painting and one of those gears I was talking about spending. Looking forward to cashing that in at a trader soon. After taking a look around, decided to go back up and try to figure out what else is up there. Or, well, what else is down there, so to speak. I did a little bit more digging around and actually happened upon another underground ruin. Once I was able to get down in there, I was able to find some more. It wasn't a huge amount of stuff, but anything is appreciated, especially in these early games. I took the torch holder and decided to take whatever I can from the forage vessel and get the heck out of there. Once I was back on top, I started running around trying to figure out what I was going to end up doing next. It was a good way to start by getting the ruins, but I needed to figure out what else was around here. I decided to do a little bit more digging before taking off and ended up getting lucky with some forage vessels. I decided to keep doing a little bit more digging just to see if I can try to maximize any gains, but there's only so much to be had. After I finished digging around the ruins, trying to get everything I can, I realized night would come eventually. So I started to gather enough dry grass to make a bed, got that set up, and then started the great adventure. I ran and I ran and I ran. Decided to take a look at a couple caves, but after seeing some crushed animals, decided that probably wasn't for me. Then I ran some more, found another trader, and then ran a little bit longer. After a while longer running, I actually found one of the treasure hunters for a part of the main quest line. This was kind of neat to see. I had never found one of these in my old worlds because it's relatively new content. I decided to explore a little bit more just to try to see what else was around, but nightfall quickly set in. Once nightfall was fully upon me, I decided to head back to that treasure hunter so that way I can get a good night's rest and end the first day. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you taking the time to take a look at the video. Feel free to comment below on anything you thought was neat or any suggestions for future episodes. I'd be happy to try to incorporate some ideas into the world in the playthrough where possible. That'll take us through day one. Looking forward to seeing you in day two.